Welcome back to Obscure Gaming, where I really like the new logo too. It's all pretty and compels me to want to make more obscure gamings just so I can use it. So speaking of which, during my travels on the internet, I stumbled upon the Donkey Kong sequel that humanity forgot. Of course, there's only one game I could be talking about. That Game Boy classic, Donkey Kong 5. The Journey of Over Time and Space. Such a grandiose title for a character whose life revolves around bananas. Now, I'm sure there are many questions that come to mind when trying to understand Donkey Kong 5, The Journey of Over Time and Space. Like, what happened to Donkey Kong 4, and why are the Kong sprites from country? And look, it's a bootleg, so those are all stolen assets. But to better understand things, for context's sake, let's discuss the game's rich plot, which is in English, the bootleg godsend. The pretty and virtuous girl, Sodoma, was Donkey Kong's friend. She was the spirit, what charge of all plant in the world. She distributed sunlight, air, and water to each plant every day so that they could grow up healthy and wrongly. I love you text rapping. But the Lombardo, you know them, lived in the darksome corner, didn't like the darksome corner, didn't like the world full of green grass and bloomy flowers, how dare they? So, he, evil Lombardo, abducted Sodoma with this laser apparently, but they did so to arrest the growth of the life. From then on, 6 dots, oh look, something Donkey Kong related, the flower bloomed no longer, and the tree blasted slowly, paused for effect, the banana and the wild fruit that Donkey Kong loved had been lacked too. The world became desolate at once, which is clearly why Donkey Kong just turned into Diddy Kong. But there were no anything to eat. Donkey Kong felt very hungry, and the famine made him thinner and thinner. Finally, he became a monkey, because that's how biology works. He grew a hat, and so the poor Donkey Kong can but left the forest, begun his difficult journey, that is, of over time and space, I want to add, to search for food and save Sodoma, a noble though mostly food-driven mission. Now, I don't want to spoil the predictable ending for you, but I will show you the upper portion of its screen, and I'm sure from there you can go ahead and extrapolate what happens. Or be haunted for years to come, either or, you know, text. But with his mission of saving food and girl understood, Donkey Kong sets off to go through various stages of questionable origin that are also of over time and space, and also kind of a Mario clone. Completely a Mario clone, actually, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Icky on a certain level, sure, but not bad. When you start a stage, you're the little monkey dude. You progress through the stage, hopping on enemies, hitting blocks for totally not coined bananas. Not to mention Donkey Kong's favorite food that makes him transform back into normal, ham! Or some meat byproduct with a bone stick, I don't know. This other thingy that makes DK shoot Hadokens, the invincibility banana star is there, and of course, it wouldn't be a 2D Mario game without a flagpole to slide down. So here's this pole with a bell on it, slide down that instead. After you exit a stage, you move on to the next until you reach the final area of that world, a castle location filled with these traps that I've certainly never seen before in my life. And at the end, you face Donkey Kong's greatest foe, Count Dracula. And after vanquishing him by jumping on the conveniently placed lever behind him, you're greeted with a lie as the girl poofs away to another castle and you get more glorious text. Donkey Kong breathed freely, forgot away form, the pretty pass, and saw Sodoma, who had been abducted for a long time. When he prepared to save Sodoma, suddenly, a smoke trailed. Also, calm the fuck down, small Donkey Kong with a hat. Pacing's not gonna help things. But he heard the Sodomas scream, "Donkey Kong, help!" exclamation point, 6 dots. And then you leave and you go to the next stage. It's romantic, I know. You'll repeat this process over and over again, and eventually the game will end. Formulaic, sure, but hell, it's functional, and since it's at its core just a Mario game, it's fun-ish, though it's of course far from perfect, and there are a lot of questionable decisions in place. As far as legit problems, the game has a tendency to slow down severely when things get too busy, which can be potentially hazardous considering it's a platformer. Speaking of hazardous, nothing is more hazardous in a platformer than falling to your death, And unfortunately, your entire field of view isn't fully displayed because the Game Boy's screen is too small, meaning you have to adjust it with the D-pad. Which would be fine, though it did on more than one occasion, in combination with the lag, cause me to die. As far as questionable decisions go, ignoring the fact that the game is pretending Diddy Kong is really skinny Donkey Kong who magically grew a hat, something about the running seems a bit off. Of course, like in some of the, let's say, actual Mario games, you'll move faster when you hold down B, and it's no different in this game, and it works fine with Diddy Kong. But when you try and run with Donkey Kong, he transforms into the Tasmanian Devil. I don't even know why. Hell, it's not even an attack. If anyone's curious, you just run into stuff and take a hit. So it's just weird and out of place. It's got that going for it, I guess. All in all, I did kind of like and have fun with the gameplay of Donkey Kong 5. While it may play like nothing more than a mediocre Mario game with Dracula and bananas, I've certainly played worse or more mediocre things. So with that aside, let's talk about the presentation of Donkey Kong 5. Now, the game looks pretty nice actually. Yes, probably all of its assets are stolen from other games, but it's a bootleg. What do you expect? The stages are somewhat varied, as they should be considering this is a journey of over time and space. You'll visit the jungle, desert, a factory, under the sea, this incredibly shameless version of a Mario level, and of course, the city. And the stages all look decent. They also make no sense when you stop to think about what's actually happening. Why is this bomb walking around the city? I don't know, but it's passable. And some may argue that the visuals look a tad messy, as everything is ripped from different sources, but if you're colorblind, it's really not that obnoxious. Score 1 for me. The only real issue I can draw up from the visuals is that any chance of trying to enjoy them is generally ruined when lag comes by to play. So there's that. Other than that, it's a nice looking bootleg, kinda. As for the music, it's pretty fantastic. Here, take a listen. That was a little number I like to call the Pewter City theme, also known as the Don't Touch Brock theme. In fact, a lot of the music, if not most of it, is from various Pokemon games. And I like the Pokemon music, so that's a pretty good move, I guess. I mean, yeah, they stole it, but they're still good songs, and nothing will ever change that fact. As for sound effects, I don't know, listen to this. You know. It's nothing special, you're not missing anything. They probably stole those too, though. All in all, though, that's pretty much all there is to say about Donkey Kong 5, The Journey of Overtime in Space. Not a title that breaks new ground for bootleg territory, and it's certainly rough around the edges, but for those curious, I wouldn't straight up dismiss the title. I mean, if you like Mario, then you should get at least some base level enjoyment out of the game, and for everyone else, it's just a neat oddity, which is really all it has to be. This has been Obscure Gaming. Thanks for watching. Hi guys, Wind here, and welcome back to End Slate, which you'll notice that this End Slate looks different from the last End Slate, because the different segments have different End Slates now. Thank you, Nico, again. But welcome back to End Slate. You just watched a video on Obscure Gaming on Donkey Kong 5, The Journey of Overtime in Space. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be bringing back Obscure Gaming as a more regular segment, especially now that I have a sweet-ass logo to use. That Japanese text really sells it. But, hey, let's do End Slate things. So the first thing on End Slate I need to do is recommend the last video I did. Because God knows YouTube didn't send it to anyone's subscription box. Probably not. I don't know. It was a bullshit creepypasta story time on Sega Legacy, the unreleased console. Sorry for the delay on that one. Also, yeah, the story was deleted from the wiki. Surprise, I know. As for the other two videos, I will just put random videos up there that you would potentially want to watch, but, you know, maybe not, but that's, you know, your decision. You can click on it if you want to, you don't have to. Something you can't click on is social media stuff, which I did say you could do last time. I was like, yeah, click on Nico's Twitter and go to that, but you can't, because apparently you can't do that on YouTube. Thought you could. So sorry about that, false advertising on my part. The link is still there, though. Type it into Google, that'll probably work. It should go to Nico, though, because he made the amazing art. That was amazing. And there's my stuff, but, you know, I don't care about that. Then what else do I talk about on Enslate? Sorry, I'm rusty. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more, or want to do the things that other people always beg you to do, like the video and share, you're free to do so, because that stuff is greatly appreciated and it helps Bounds and Bounds and Bounds, but it's not forced at all. Just do it if you want to. And that is about it, right? Yeah. So, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, you guys. I hope everyone has a good holiday. And I'll see you again next time on whatever video I make next. And Enslate on Enslate. Bye, guys.